Okay, I was trying to shadow. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cloud Study Jam Nairobi. Can you guys hear me first? Okay, perfect.
All good.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cloud Study Jam Nairobi and Pwani. This is our first virtual AMA, which is Ask Me Anything, and we are very glad to have all of you join us this evening. So I'm joined here with other members of the community. But first, my name is Ngesa Marvin. I'm very passionate about cloud and machine learning. But at work, I'm a device manager at Safaricom. And outside work, I work with amazing leads like Wen Gakuo and Daisy to organize for you these amazing activities or events. So welcome. We're very glad to have you join us. So probably we'll start with introductions for all the members, and I will invite Wayne Gakuo.
Thank you. Thank you, Marvin. Hi, everyone watching us from wherever you are. My name is Wayne Gakuo. I'm a front-end engineer at Sky Garden, mostly working with Angular framework. Outside here, I'm a Google developer expert for the Angular framework. I lead GDG Pwani, and it's an honor having this Cloud Study Jam AMA together with GDG Nairobi, and grateful to having these amazing speakers we have today join us for this AMA, because we believe that we're going to learn a lot from them. And yeah, apart from that, I'm a person of community. I love speaking at communities on Angular. And I usually say if I wasn't doing web, I would have been doing cloud right now. So I'm a cloud enthusiast. So it's really great to be here, because I know I personally will learn a lot. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it from my side. And yeah, I hope to interact with each and every one of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. I'll hand it over to Joshen. Joshen, I think you are on mute.
Now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hi everyone. Lovely greetings from the island of Mauritius. Yeah, my name is Jochen Kirstetter, better known as Joki in the communities. I'm a GDG organizer or the main organizer for GDG Mauritius since a few years. I'm a GDE for cloud in serverless computing. And yeah, I'm super glad to be here on the call on the AMA for the Cloud Study Jam together with GDG Nairobi and GDG Pwani. So that's it on my side. Feel free to reach out, and I'm looking forward to see all your questions.
Thank you, Joki. And that reminds me that we are having attendees joining us from Mombasa. Some are in Mombasa, some are in Nairobi. We also have others. We also have John joining us from Nigeria. In general, we have people joining us from all over the continent. So thank you, Joki, and welcome everyone who is joining us on this call this evening. I'll hand it over to Daisy.
Thank you, Marvin. My name is Daisy Okacha from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a data engineer at Equity Bank, and I'm super excited to be with you today. As you can see, I'm yet to clock out from work based on the background. It was just more convenient for me to clock in while still at work. So I'm super excited to be on the call with the GDEs to just learn more from you. It's been an exciting last 3 weeks just learning more about the GCP, and it's amazing to have you on board to clarify a few concepts here and there. So I'm excited. I'm also a GDG co-organizer with the likes of Marvin here in Nairobi, and I'm super excited to be here. Thank you. Over to you, Ngesa.
Thank you, Daisy. And if you'd want to learn more about what we do with machine learning, with the GDG and cloud, Daisy is the best person to talk to, because a series of machine learning events is the one who lead it for us in our community. I'll hand it over to James, and then John.
All right. Thank you, Marvin. Hello, everyone. My name is James Moy. I am the CTO of Sky Garden. So Wayne Gakwe is my colleague. And I'm also a Google developer expert for cloud. I spend a lot of time working with cloud infrastructure, DevOps. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you have in that area. Thank you so much for organizing this. Really proud to be here and looking forward to interacting with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, James. We'll hand it over to John.
Hi, everyone. James, I love your introduction. You definitely sound like a CEO. We need to come to you for some tutorials.
Okay.
Yeah, so my name is Robert. I'm based out of Lagos, Nigeria, and I am a GD in two categories. First, machine learning, and then secondly, on the Google Cloud Platform. And on GCP, I spend more time in the data section as well as the compute and storage sections. So, and then of course, with the cloud machine learning section. So happy to answer questions from those sections. I'm happy to be here as well.
Thank you, Robert, and thanks everyone for the introductions. And I can hear I can hear people talking about the GDE, the GDG, and probably some of our attendees don't know what GDG is and the GDE is. I could welcome Wayne to explain to the attendees what a GDG is and what a GDE is.
Okay. So that people don't get confused. So GDGs are basically Google developer groups. And these are just communities run by volunteers in your city chapters. So there's Nairobi, there's Pwani, there's Eldoret.
I think I lost you for some time, Wayne. I don't know if it's just me.
No, it sounds like his connection is...
No, yeah, it's not just you. Okay, he's back.
Sorry about that, guys. Apologies. So as I mentioned, GDG is Google developer groups that are usually run by city chapters. So, Nairobi, there's Pwani, there's Eldoret, there's Kisumu, there's Mauritius, there's Lagos. And what this is all about is just Google developers communities. And what it's all about is that if you're anyone who's interested in learning about Google technologies and the latest about Google technologies, that's usually the best place to go. It's free, and the events are usually, I think, if not every month, at least every quarter. And it's usually it can either be a big event or be like probably like Cloud Study Jams, for example. So if you're someone who's interested in just learning about Google technologies, that will be the best opportunity. As for GDEs, which is short for Google Developer Experts, it's in a nutshell, these are people who are recognized by Google developers as people who have a certain expertise in a certain technology, and in this specific terms is a Google technology. So we have cloud, which I'm part of the Google Developer Experts community for Angular, for example. There's the cloud, there's machine learning, there's Flutter, there's Firebase, all Google technologies that are mostly used by developers. We usually have GDEs for. So yeah, if in case you'd like to, learn more about it, about the journey, you can always feel free to reach out to either of us, as you can see over here, and we'll be glad to provide insights on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. And for the more guys who are joining us, welcome all of you from all the corners of the country and the continent. Again, this is the Cloud Study Jam, Nairobi, Ask Me Anything session. And ideally, Cloud Study Jam is basically a series of sessions where we give you tools, we give you resources, and generally give you the necessary things you need to be able to prepare, to learn and prepare for certification exams. So we'll give you on-demand training, you have self-paced labs, then you even have a peer-to-peer community and groups where you can be able to ask your questions and get answers from it. So we usually have weekly sessions, of course, going for 6 weeks. And in these sessions, we have facilitators who guide you on the different topics that we've selected, or the different certification vertical that we've selected. And of course, we have on-demand resources, including giving you access to Cloud Skills Boost, where you can have the labs and get learning materials. And also we give you a space on Discord where you can have a deeper engagement with the facilitators and generally the members of the community. So ideally, it's just a place where we come together virtually, sometimes physically, and we're able to learn together as a group. And we're also able to share resources with each other and also answer each other's questions during the entire period. And just to give you some of the certifications that we are covering at the moment, this time we decided to ensure that everyone is catered for at GDG Nairobi, because our numbers we are growing very fast and we are almost hitting 12,000. And then also, this is a community event that we're organizing together with GDG Pwani. So we are having professional cloud DevOps engineer certifications. We also have the one for machine learning. We have the one for data engineering, cloud engineer, and even cloud architect. But this is an opportunity for all of you to learn, and not just from the classes, but also from your peers in the forum, during the study groups. And we are all here to grow and improve each other's skills. And of course, it's a week. It goes from week 1 to week 6. So on week 1, for example, in professional machine learning, you can see that we have some content for it. You have some labs for it. Then we have week 2, week 3. Then we have a break for it. Then we're going to go to week 4, 5, and then 6. And our weeks. Today, of course, we're having the virtual AMA session. But after that, we're going to have week 4 from the 25th of May to 1st June. And then, of course, on 1st of June, we're going to have a virtual call, an office hour, where we take your questions and generally just see where everyone has reached. Then we go to week 5 and then week 6. So up to this point, I'd want to hand it over to Wayne to guide us through the next stage. Wayne.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you, Marvin. All right. So would like just to go into the questions and all, and would like to just hear from at least each and every one of our experts over here on cloud. And it's going to be just a series of questions. These are questions that come from our community members, as well as we feel like this is something that would be of great benefit to them to just get to know about it. So I am just going to start over the first question. And this is just about what we do here at the Google Cloud Study Jam. So for the past, I think now we're going to the 4th week, we've been having a series of workshops or sessions in which we have like recaps in terms of the course outline we have. We usually have like every week we have something we have to cover in terms of content. And the attendees have been looking at, for example, like how can I get started when it comes to certification and all that. And we'll try to provide with them some bit of content in which, for example, they can learn from beginner level to expert level, or to at least somewhere where they can say that I actually know something about, for example, cloud architecture. So from your own words, right, maybe in a few words, we can start with you, Jockey. What are the benefits of Google Cloud certification?
Oh, that's a great question. As you might remember or recall, I was actually doing the presentation on this topic during DevFest Nairobi last year. And certifications, first of all, it's like you confirm your knowledge. Yeah, it's like, you can check the different bullet points and say, okay, I know how to do things using Google Cloud Platform. Second major aspect that I absolutely love is that with a certification under your belt, you stand out of the crowd in terms of the job market. So recruiters are looking for certified people. Companies, especially in the cloud area, are looking for candidates with certification, because this gives them a good understanding where their knowledge is. And last but not least, during Cloud Next last year, it was Google's commitment to bring a data center to the African continent, namely down in South Africa. So meaning there's a growing job market, and Google Cloud Platform is actually among the fastest growing cloud computing provider. And last but not least, it's a professional certification that is identical worldwide. So it's standardized, meaning anyone on the African continent going for the exam, taking and passing, getting the certification, has equal knowledge to anybody else in the world, whether it's in Tokyo, in Sydney, in London, wherever. You can show that even in our regions, there's talent, there's knowledge, there's expertise, and you can go also then for remote jobs. So this is, to my opinion, one of the largest benefits for professional certifications, apart from the fact that you can do it in your leisure time, whenever you feel that you fancy, say, okay, let's do it. And, refresh your knowledge, go deeper in some areas, and have fun during these study jams.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jackie, for that. James, would you like maybe to add something onto that?
Yes, thanks, Owen. I think that's a good question. Besides the points that Joki has said, which are very important in getting certified, I think being certified also not only cements your expertise on a particular area of Google Cloud, but also boosts your confidence. You can say, I know how to do something, but the moment you get certified, it boosts your confidence. If you go for a job interview, you'll have that confidence knowing that I was able to complete this particular program. I'm not being asked to do things that I have not practically done so myself. So I think it is good, especially if you are, looking for a job. Having that certification will increase your chances of getting the opportunity and also boost your confidence when it comes to actually doing something. So yeah, that's a point I would like to add there. I don't know if John has another point why it's important.
Yeah, thanks. So my own point is that it makes my life easier, and what that means is that I need to hire people. I need to hire people who will work on GCP, and for people who are looking for a job, they have no idea how hard it is to hire people, right? So you might just say, "Oh, I've been applying for a job for the past 3 weeks and I haven't got any job." And you might not know that there's someone who has been interviewing people for 6 months and he hasn't been able to hire someone, right? And for me, when I see that you're Google Cloud certified, what it tells me immediately is what tasks you've done, what labs you've done, and what you're able to do. It makes my life a whole lot easier because I know what questions to ask you and skip the foundational questions and go to the more complex questions. And if you can answer one or two of those, I know that you've defended your certification. So all I can say is please go out and get a certification, because ever so often we need to hire. I don't know if James is hiring, but I'm sure I'm speaking for James when I say that it also makes James's life easier and the life of everyone who works in any company where they make use of the Google Cloud and they have to hire people.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think also just something to add on to that. Right now, what we see is like everything is in the cloud. So a certification would definitely put your place up there. You'd be one of those people who would be sought after in terms of your expertise. As you had John say that when they're looking for architects, for example, or cloud architects, they're always looking at your level of expertise. If you're an expert at it or you're certified at it, then that means that you have like an upper hand in comparison with other people who will be applying for the same role. So yeah, everything's on the cloud, so you never know. Right. So I think this just smoothly puts us to the second question, and we can just start with you, John, because you just touched on it. And is that what are the job prospects of people, getting started with Google Cloud certification?
They're quite massive, particularly because the cloud itself is massive. When you go onto the cloud, there are so many things that you could be doing. You could be doing data engineering. You could be doing ML. You could actually even be doing application engineering, right? You could be building cloud native applications or cloud first applications. So there's so much that you could be doing that I'm not sure we're going to be able to cover everything here. But in terms of job prospects, companies are hiring. They could be hiring for any of these job prospects or something that is even outside of it, but the cloud creates the job opportunities. And believe it or not, there are always openings somewhere. The problem is filling those openings. The problem is having the requisite experience or the requisite qualification to get the job. Problem isn't necessarily always the job, because even when you hear that there's a hiring freeze or that even people are being laid off somewhere, usually there's an opening, right? Because you need the right person to get the job done. Back to you, Wayne.
Thank you. James, as a CTO, for instance, and your years of expertise in cloud, what are the job prospects for Google Cloud certified individuals?
I think the one thing I know is that the opportunities are always on the rise. And Google Cloud has demonstrated that it is a rapidly growing cloud. When I started working with Google Cloud, well, many years ago, it was just something called App Engine at that time, where you couldn't even provision a virtual machine. You had to write your code and then upload it in App Engine, provisions whatever you need and deploys it for you. But ever since that time, the cloud itself has really grown from platform as a service to compute, storage, ML. So the opportunities are very many. And a lot more companies, including here in Africa, have continuously proceeded to adopt Google Cloud. And this is now evidence with Google themselves saying they're bringing a data center here, which means they're seeing that a lot more people have adopted it. And therefore, the prospects for you when you get certified, basically, are massive. They have increased rapidly and will continue to increase over the years.
Thank you for that. Jockey?
Yeah, there's only few to add to the statements. Yeah, I mean, Google Cloud, even other cloud providers, is on the rise. A few years back, it was like, is it safe to put, use resources online? Are the network connections stable? Is the internet connectivity stable enough? I would say, even within Africa, since a few years, we have reliable data connections, whether it's fixed line, whether it is on 5G or 4G, 5G connections data. It's definitely there, and the jobs are on the rise. I mean, one of the predictions or let's say commitments by Google only was to create approximately 180,000 jobs till 2030. So this is within 6.5 years. It sounds like a small number, but it's there. The demand is there. And I can speak for the local environment here in Mauritius, is that companies from abroad setting up subsidiaries, setting up business, and they are looking desperately for staff in the cloud areas. And it covers really everything, whether it is classic app development, whether it is supported mobile development, the the whole networking range, site reliability, so SRE, cybersecurity is a hot topic. And as you might notice just recently, AI is everywhere. And data science, machine learning, there are so many fields available that I think there's something for any gusto that you can reach out, and it's increasing. And what I would like to add here is, as well is, please do not just look in your surrounding. Yeah, like we are here in the chat, I mean, the world is getting smaller and smaller. Working remote with companies worldwide has been on the rise since the pandemic, like a blessing in disguise somehow. However, nobody stops you to apply for a job anywhere else in the world, and there are even specialized job portals that only offer remote jobs, and the opportunities to go for these jobs, especially with a certification or multiple certifications under your belt, are fantastic. And yeah, cloud is here to stay. It's only increasing. It is evolving over time, but it's not going to go away.
Yeah, that's actually true. You've actually touched, all of you have actually touched on something that's very, very important when it comes to what's currently in the market and all that. And one thing that is for sure that everyone has seen is that most of the things are going to the cloud. Think of your favorite streaming service, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Amazon Prime. Like most of these things are being orchestrated in the cloud and then being managed over there. Like for example, a few weeks ago, Amazon released an article on talking about how they orchestrate the whole architecture of how to stream on their service. And it was mind blowing, like actually getting to see all this happening in the cloud, and all that. And back then, you wouldn't even have thought of like something as widely used as would just be used in a very small space, for example, in the cloud. So it's actually really great to hear from all of you who have actually been there I've been there in the industry for quite a while. That there's always something for everyone. Whether DevOps, SRE, all that, those opportunities are always there. So I'd like just to move on to the next question. Is that what are your tips for people who are considering getting Google Cloud certifications? We can start with you, Joki.
I have only one tip. Take it like Bruce Lee. Practice, 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 and then practice again. It's the warrior that practice one movement 10,000 times is more dangerous than the one that practice 10,000 moves once. So it's all about repetition. You need to, breathe, taste, smell, live in the cloud somehow. And with the study jams, with the cloud skills boost program that you have access during these 6 weeks or even longer, it's beyond those 6 weeks, you can get access to various hands-on labs with the ability to repeat them at least 5 times every day, and the next day again, and the next day again. So practice, practice, practice. It needs to be your flesh and blood, working with cloud, like you would, write code for application development. Same applies to cloud infrastructures. Get familiar with the command line tools, get familiar with the concepts, get familiar with the products. And I would like to stress out there's this 4 words cheat sheet available, and maybe we can share the link also in the chat then, that literally describes any product or services on Google Cloud Platform in 4 or less words, and it's super helpful to get around with that. And actually, I have it as my desktop background just for my sessions. So I mean, yeah, Montip, practice.
Thank you, Jackie. John, would you like to add any tips?
Yeah, thanks. So I've dropped the link to the cheat sheet that Jokey was talking about, so Daisy can post it in the general chat. So one thing that we might fail to mention when it comes to the certifications is that the certifications are meant to be proof that you've been working with GCP for a certain period of time. So there are two classes of certification. There's the associate, and the associate is supposed to be proof that you've worked with GCP for at least 12 months. And then the professional is supposed to be proof that you've worked with GCP for about 3 years. Now, you might not actually be employed somewhere where you're working directly on GCP. But note that you've got two options for still working with GCP. One is with Cloud Skills Boost, where you just take labs and you learn about stuff. And of course, the other one is where you just go and get your free GCP account and your free credit for like a year, and you keep practicing. And similar to anything that requires you to have experience, note that you can always volunteer. So you can always just say, hey, even if you don't have any paid openings, can I get an internship or something? But like Jokey said, you really can't do this thing without practice. And practice means actually working on GCP. So you just have to work on GCP. It doesn't mean that you have to spend the 12 months before you go for the certification. If you feel that you're ready to go for the certification, it's fine to go for the certification, but make sure that you put in the work. Thank you.
Thank you, John. James?
Yeah, so I think on top of that, I would say if you look at all the certifications, whether it's associate, professional, each of those tracks, I think one thing that gets emphasized is importance to understand the core infrastructure, the core infrastructure of Google, what particular services do, which service would you choose for a particular implementation. So understand the fundamentals properly, understand the core, and even after you understand the core infrastructure, it's when you'll be able to determine which track do you want to choose basically. So you need to first have the fundamentals and then practice, choose the track you want to follow, identify the services that you need to work with for on that particular track, and just practice and practice. You can get free credits to get started with Google Cloud if you've never used it before. And also, once you learn something on a particular lab, you can also go and be able to have it running on your own personal account. So get to understand the fundamentals, get to know which service does what, and then improve your expertise from there.
Yeah, thank you on that. So I think you've heard it from the industry experts. So try as much as possible to at least get the fundamentals as well, unlock and practice. This is something that you've probably heard for each and everything that you do, whether you want to get good at writing code, whether you want to get good at teaching. It's all about practice. So try as much as possible, follow those tips, and you never know, maybe the next Google Cloud certified practitioner out here. So yeah, and I think I'll just go on to the next question. And the next question would be like, what are the best ways, to get hands-on experience with GCP? Like, do you just do code labs, or do you go ahead further, for example, and purchase a course, and all that? So what would be the best way? We can start with you, James.
I think there are many ways, but I would go with what John has said. You can choose for a start to just go on Cloud Boost, and it has so much content that gives you hands-on practice. And you can also choose the track where you have your own Google account, and you learn, you read about things, you read documentation, you launch the services yourself. both will get you going to a point where you can get certified.
Okay, thank you. John?
Okay, so let me just clarify something for people who don't know what Cloud Skills Boost is. Cloud Skills Boost gives you access to GCP without charging you for that GCP access. But that access is limited in two ways. First of all, the amount of time to which you have access to the project. So GCP always has something called a project, and projects can be created and destroyed on the fly. So you will be given access to a GCP project, which will not cost you money for a limited amount of time, and you'll be allowed to do certain things on that project. Because resources cost money on GCP, it's possible for you to want to go do something that costs a lot of money. If you're taking a lab that supports that thing, for example, if you're taking a lab on something like Apache Beam, or some data infrastructure that is compute intensive and storage intensive, that project will let you do that for the fixed amount of time. But if you're doing something that pertains to, let's say, App Engine, and you try to run an Apache Beam instance, that project is going to shut down. So Cloud Skills Boost isn't particularly different from GCP. It's just that when we say GCP, we're saying that you're spending your money. And when we say Cloud Skills Boost, what we're saying is that you're not really spending your money, right? So in this case, there's really no substitute for Cloud Skills Boost, because that's what you hands-on experience. When you take a course, what a course is doing is it is structured learning. So a course is going to come with a curriculum that says, first start with this, and then do this and do this. Now, with Cloud Skills Boost, you've got lots and lots of tutorials, but you're free to start anywhere. You're free to take it at your own pace and do stuff. That's the real difference between taking a course and Cloud Skills Boost. So when you take a course, you're going to have people explain certain concepts to you, which is very good. And then you're going to have some hands-on at the end. But the hands-on, when you take a course, isn't as much as the hands-on when you go directly on Cloud Skills Boost. So in terms of practice, there really isn't any substitute for Cloud Skills Boost.
Thank you. Thank you for that, John. Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, both James and Robert already put it together. There are just some minor remarks on that. Is, to my opinion, you should see that you sign up for your account on Google Cloud Platform. There might be a little bit obstacle because of ID verification, but there are ways to manage that, so that you can go anytime into the console and explore. Just going through the menus, see how services are grouped, what are the changes, what is available, is a good starting point, because it gives you familiarity with the product. Plus, when you go into each service without creating resources, you get a huge amount of links to the official documentation. You get links to tutorials. And there's also something that Google provides, which is called Code Labs. And I hope that Wayne or Marvin picks it up from share the link here, that has specific additional labs that are targeting cloud and other technologies. Plus, and this might be a little bit of a hidden gem, sign up with your personal Gmail account on Cloud Skills Boost, and then follow Cloud Skills Boost, or the old product name, which is called Quick Labs. Follow them on Twitter or on Medium, because they have regular challenges, competitions, games, where they are actually offering so-called access tokens, codes, that give you credits in order that you can run labs on Google Cloud Skills Boost. So meaning even that you don't want to put money into the platform that you can run these labs, trace them, track them on social media, and you will get possibilities to build up your wallet of credits, and you get access to numbers of labs. Plus, there are speed runs. Recently there's this arcade game that also gives you then an outlook to win additional prizes like swag, bits and pieces. So try to follow Quick Labs, which is the previous name of Cloud Skills Boost, on Twitter, on Medium, and you will get credits for free. That would be my closing advice on that part.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Thank you all for that. I think it's very, very important, to take note of such kind of resources because they prove to be helpful for anyone who's probably wanting to get started or someone who just wants maybe to have like a refresher. And I think one thing that is most apparent, what you've had over here, is whenever you do the dirty work, that is, go out there on your laptop, on your machine, and just start working on those either code labs or cloud skills on Cloud Skills Boost. You are able to get that hands-on experience on how to get started or how continue improving your skills as a cloud architect or cloud professional. Right, and I can see that we do have quite a number of questions on the live chat. So we just ask one more question and then we can move over to the live chat. So I think one question, probably this is something you're always going to find it somewhere out there on maybe on Twitter or on someone's DM. And this is the question I'll always be asking. What are the best ways to network with Google Cloud professionals? Do I go ahead and start stocking gems on LinkedIn, or do I go and start asking everyone, does anyone have a link to Robert John's, portfolio, and all that? Like, how do I get to connect to them? So we can start with you, Jackie.
Yeah, easiest way, public infrastructure, public access, no strings attached. Check out my handle on Twitter as well as on Mastodon. That's the easiest straightaway way to get in touch with me. My DMs are open if you feel more comfortable to send me a private message. But please don't spam me with Web3, blockchain, or, kind of my bank account needs to be transferred. I don't know. Can you help me? Stuff like that. Try to focus on GCP. And just to also, I'm sharing my handle in the chat so that it can be picked up and shared. So feel free to reach out. It might take a bit time that I respond, but I will definitely respond to it.
Okay, John, how do you connect with the cloud professionals?
Yeah, for me, I think LinkedIn works because you can always search for the particular certification or title that you're interested in. So if you're looking for professional architects, you put that title into LinkedIn, and you'll see people pop up. And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn is you'll see people that you already know. You'll see people that are a second connection. So people who are friends with people that you already know, and it makes it easier to reach out. I get lots and lots of people who reach out to me and just say, they're interested in whatever data or embedded systems or whatever, and they would like to connect and keep in touch. And definitely people accept invites from strangers when there's a good enough explanation why they are reaching out. Now, even more importantly is that you should also keep your own profile good and up to date. So, similar to what Joki said, if your LinkedIn profile says cryptocurrency, for example, and then you send me an invite, the first question I ask myself is, why does this person want to talk to me? Because I don't really advertise, cryptocurrency. Or if you're, if you just have some unusual title that doesn't pertain to technology or cloud in particular, or data or machine learning or something that I'm interested in, I might just leave that invite hanging until you send a message that explains why you want to get in touch. But for me, that's the sort of networking that works.
Thank you, John. How about you, James?
Yeah, so the only thing I would add there, Wayne, is I think it's important to emphasize on the aspect of being in the community, being part of the community, because that's where you discover these professionals that you want to network with. You know, you get to know about John, about Joki by being at an event like this. Most people who, a lot of people who contact me on Twitter or LinkedIn, we meet at events. We meet at community events and they say, can you give me your handle, give me your LinkedIn? I'd like to ask you ABCD. I'd like you to be my mentor. If you go to my Twitter account, you'll find I rarely tweet. You probably won't even know if I'm a cloud or I know anything about cloud. So I think being part of this event is important. I encourage you to be part of, any event, whether it's cloud, web, mobile, based on the area that you're interested in, because that's where you get to discover these people and then you can network with them.
All right, thank you. Really great tips here on how to get connected with these industry professionals out there. So please remember, be professional as possible. Reach out to the. I usually tell people if you want to capture the attention of whoever you're reaching out to, on that first message, be sure to be courteous and at the same time also just going straight to the point as why you need this particular connection. It makes things much easier and it reduces the time of I'll get back to you after 5 business days, and all that. So be professional as much as possible and be part of communities because this is where people even get jobs, right? If you attend any DevFest or IO Extended, there's a higher chance that you're also going to see these professionals out there. And you never know, just having a chat on them about, let's say, for example, App Engine might land you that role. So be present in these communities as well. Okay, so we have quite a number of questions in the live chat. And I'd like to just hand it over to Daisy to take over from that part. Yeah, Daisy.
Thank you, Wayne, and thank you also for that engaging second session. It was really insightful to pick the minds of the GDAs. I'm impressed that there's actually a Google for Innovators competition. That's something I didn't know about. And thank you, Joki, for shedding light on that. I think we need to talk more about what Google is doing behind the scenes for innovators, for developers, so we can just tap in and learn beyond cloud as well. So for the questions, I'm going to start from the last one up. Lavender Abigail asks, is there a site for these modules? So Lavender, to answer your question, I posted the Discord link for you to join. Once you join the Discord channel, you'd find the resources that we use. That way, at least, you'd be sure about the track you want to join, as we have around 5. Once you decide on a track, then you'd be guided on how to proceed so that you can also access your credits. So in case you're stranded, please feel free to private message me on Discord as well. I'll be able to guide you. Ngesa, do you want to add anything to that?
No. I think it's good.
Okay, thank you. So Lois Wambua asks 3 questions. I'll combine 2. So he asks, what happens after the 6 weeks and you've not concluded your modules? Do we still get mentor to peer guidance? If stuck? The second one, after I have completed the self-paced modules, what next? How do I transition from learning to signing up for the certification exam? Again, Louise, to answer your question, I'll just go back to what we mentioned to Lavender. So we have the Discord channel, which really is a community for us to learn from each other, from our mentors, from our peers. So it's not really mentor to peer structured, it's peer to peer, it's community based. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And we are hoping to have these communities open at least for the next 3 months, and then we can just keep learning from each other. So feel free to engage, feel free to engage with your peers, feel free to, engage the facilitators as well. As you said, don't shy away, just shoot your shot. You'd certainly be guided on like the next steps and what you need to do. On your second question about how to transition from learning to signing up for the certification exam, I think that's pretty straightforward. Guess how, when, unless you want to add something, I think the course content just guides you on how to go about it.
Yeah, totally. We have the course content. We have the PDFs, we have the videos, and they guide you very well. And also, we have the group chat where we can be able to find where you're having a challenge and then also help you in it. So yeah.
Yeah, again, just to echo one of the points Jockey and James still echoed during the conversations is that community, leverage the community as much as you can on Discord. That way you'd grow a lot faster. On the last question from Louis, he also asked, does the study jam have a deadline, or do you take your time and learn as much concepts in depth as you can? Unfortunately, Louise, I believe this was just supposed to run for 6 weeks. So in the 6 weeks, you're supposed to be able to at least cover the course content, make use of the credits as well as you can. So I think that answers your second question. Go in depth as you can in the amount of time you've been given, right? So make the most out of the credits within the 6 weeks period that we actually have. I think we're actually lucky because I think we'll go beyond the 6 week stretch. That's enough time for you to make use of the resources. But again, we'll be doing this in 2 batches. So this is just the first batch. We finish in the next 3 weeks. So you can always feel free to join the next cohort. That way you can still make good use of the resources and learn as much as you can. Thank you.
Yeah, I could add on top of what Daisy has said that we're going to have this for 6 weeks, and we'll give you credits and also give you access to the course material. You'll have the course material even after the 6 weeks. 6 weeks has elapsed, and still you'll also be able to have access to the credits for 90 days from the first day you're given to them. So even after the period you've taken, depending on the first day you receive your credits, you'll still be able to have them for 90 days. Over to you, Daisy.
Thank you, Ngesa, for that clarification. I think it's kept my mind. Asante sana. I don't see any other questions on the chat, so I'll hand over back to Wayne.
Thank you. I think there was one question I saw, which was very interesting. I think came from Luigi. Is it Luigi from Mario or anyway? Yeah. So the question was my question on supply chain and SPM. Does GCP help with that or supply chain management? I think that was the question. Does GCP help with that? I think any of the experts can take this question up. Does GCP help in supply chain management?
So I'll take that, and I'll say GCP can help in anything that is process oriented. The more important question is whether you know how to break down and automate your process, right? So you'll find that you've got a lot of industries, you've got a lot of, let's say, standard processes. And the question is usually, how do I go from a paper-based process to an automated process? And in this case, you might be dealing with things like, how do I handle orders? How do I, treat A, treat B, treat C? So it's usually whether you're going to pick up some off-the-shelf software. But if you pick up that off-the-shelf software, is it just software that you're being sold, or is the vendor giving you software as a service? Or do you have to spin up your own service? So if you don't have software as a service, you need to bring your service into GCP. Now, what do you need to do? Do you need to install software? You've got, things like Compute Engine for that. Or if you're lucky and it's forward facing and you get your software in the form of things like containers, then you can make use of something like Cloud Run to get started immediately. Or if you are kind of like Fortune 500 sized, you might want to go with something like Google Kubernetes Engine that will let you scale up and scale down massively. If your software has a database that you need to set up, GCP will give you either managed services like Cloud SQL, or you can, spin up a computer engine instance and then set up your database, set up your replication, and do all sorts of things. If you've got files that you need to store, you might choose to use some build-up storage like Google Cloud Storage, or do something else. So it's not a one-word answer, but to put it simply, yes, there are resources. You just need to know how to use those resources. But there's no wasted knowledge. So you really need to go in and learn stuff, and then you can see what you can apply to something, right? If you limit yourself by saying that you're not going to learn something because you don't know whether it solves the problem for a particular industry, then you're going to be surprised, because a little while down the road, you will then find that that industry is actually using that thing that you failed to learn, but then you're going to be playing catch up trying to learn stuff that you could have learned earlier for free. That's it.
I could add on top of that, on the one for supply chain. In the country, I've seen, of course, from the IoT perspective, I've seen people who are adding devices on their trucks and monitoring goods moving from one location to another. And then these devices could send location information, could send information like temperature, humidity about the goods, or what you're moving from one place to another. And this data, you can pipe it on GCP. You can use tools like PubSub, use Dataflow, take it all the way to BigQuery, where you can even do more analysis of it. So you can use that, or even if you're building your own application, you can still use IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and still use GCP with supply chain. So I think it all depends on how you would want to structure your pipeline and have your data flow in Google Cloud. Yes, over to you, Daisy.
And I think also just to add on to that, and I think this is something that probably most people have actually seen when it comes to the cause, is that they always talk about, you knowing all the technologies, but the key difference is where exactly to apply it. So, you cannot just throw everything at one particular problem. You need to make sure that you have this set of tools, and then so which tool is going to be able to, for example, help me in implementing this solution for this particular problem that I have. So knowing that is very, very important, and it's very, very key. I don't know on that question. Does any other jockey or James have something to add on to that?
So yeah, I think when the most important thing is first, you need to understand the problem that you have and the solution you're building for that problem. And the purpose of being a cloud expert, being learning whether it's to be a cloud engineer, machine learning engineer, is so that you can be able to identify the right service to be able to choose in order to implement your solution. If you want to implement cloud native solution for your application, which service do you choose? If you want to store data, which service do you choose? And for example, if you're storing data on Google Cloud, there are quite a number of offerings. There are offerings for storing, structured data, SQL, NoSQL. If you're storing binary data, which service do you choose in order to implement the solution that you have designed? And as John mentioned, if you're talking about domain-specific areas like supply chain management, you could implement your own solution. You could design your own solution and implement it by bringing multiple services together on GCP. And there are also off-the-shelf solutions. There are, for example, companies that will give you things like ERPs, and they tell you you can choose to host it yourself, you can choose the open source version, or you can choose ERP as a service, which we are going to provision for you in Google Cloud or whatever. So being able to understand your problem and designing the solution first is important, and then combining your knowledge of the cloud to be able to implement it by choosing the correct or the right service for the right job.
Thank you. Jackie, do you have anything to add?
Well, not really, because I mean it has been mentioned, and yeah, I can only underline James' statement that analyze the problem, see where are the pain points, work with checklists. This is a very efficient tool in order then to conduct your business analysis, to conduct your resource analysis, but also then in order to see, okay, when you make a decision about which services or products in Google Cloud Platform to choose from, that you have it also documented and you're going forward with it. Maybe an additional point that should be mentioned here is from the start, as in preparations to be a professional, like with the practicing aspect, see that you can produce easy, repeatable outcomes, meaning not just navigate around in the web UI of Google Cloud Platform, but also make yourself familiar with the command line tools, gcloud, gsutil, bq, whatever is there, and try to see that you can actually script or write scripts that would actually help you to automate or to replicate certain scenarios in a way faster way than you would do it manually. And when you are feeling comfortable with this, the next stage would be then to look into automated provisioning tools like, for example, Terraform or Pulumi that would help you to ease your life in order then to set up your services, to manage their state, and to amend them as business requirements or application implementations are being added or are being changed. And I think this is the way to go, that you are taking it to a more automated approach, coming from the initial manual activities to build up the knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, James. And thank you, John, for those insights. Wow, time has really moved so fast, and I wouldn't like to keep people here. So, in just like very few words, in short statements or sentences, would like just to know from each and every one of you, how's your experience been, in your journey to become the industry expert that you are today? It doesn't have to be long, just simple and short. Yeah. So we can start with you, John.
So I was hoping you wouldn't start with me because I'm not sure I can remember. It's been a very long journey. But again, it's a journey, it's not a destination. So you never really arrive. You only remain knowledgeable as long as you're constantly learning, right? The tools that we work with change all the time. There's hardly anything that you use as a tool that doesn't have a new version in 12 months, right? Some get a new release every 6 months or something. So you're always constantly learning. Even the GCP that we talk about, that sounds like one thing, it's kind of like how people say Africa, instead of mentioning the different countries in Africa, and oh, you're from Africa and you're from Africa, are you related, right? Kind of like, am I related to Ingesa? There are lots and lots of products on GCP, and they're consistently adding new products. I think there was a time when maybe a few of us could mention all the products on GCP. like James mentioned, when he started, it was just App Engine, right? But now there are so many things. Now you just log on and there's something new on the console. So the journey is really about learning. I tell people the real job, when you're hired as someone who works in technology, your real job is learning. Then, part of the outcome of learning is actually just getting something done so that the company can justify paying you. But your full-time job is actually just constantly learning. That's it from me.
Thank you. Thank you, John. James?
Yeah, I think I would echo John's words. It's been an exciting journey. I would also say it's a rewarding journey. And one thing I've found over the years is the importance of staying, I don't know if it's the right phrase to use, on the bleeding edge of whatever is happening in the cloud. Because as John says, you log in today, log in tomorrow, you find something new has happened. And also, how do you keep yourself up to date with all the changes that are happening, all the new services that are happening? So learning is very important. It is what makes the journey rewarding. I think it's a rewarding experience being a cloud techie. It's a rewarding journey, and for those of you who are getting started, and I know a lot of you are choosing this, industry, are choosing to go into this, from your own passion because you want to be, to learn and implement and provide solutions. When you do something and you see it working and solving people's problems, that's it will be very satisfying. So keep learning, network with people, follow the right people, and just stay on the bleeding edge. And in the end, it's gonna be very rewarding.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, James. Jockey?
Yeah, to wrap it up, I have literally just one statement, which is the only frontiers are in your mind. If you set something up that you want to achieve, you can go for it. Google Cloud Platform is a tool to achieve this. If you can dream of it, you can make it, you can build it. There are other people in the veterans in the tech scene, in the software scene. It's like it's just software. So meaning that you can pick up the services, the products, you can rearrange them, you can recombine them. There are absolutely endless possibilities nowadays. And as Robert mentioned, you log on to the console after a week, you see a new preview. We just had the I/O event with over 100 announcements across all the technologies areas from Google, and the latest hype like AI everywhere, generative AI. Then there's cloud workstations that give you a full-fledged development environment in the cloud that you just can pop up in the browser, remotely connect to it, and you can continue coding. Even on your, if you want to see on your tablet, on your mobile, you don't need to have an actual hardware anymore. You can just log on to the cloud and get your development done. And this is going to expand. There will be more services coming. It will be more integrated with other existing services. And there are so many other products that can be integrated into Google Cloud Platform as well. So to wrap it up, the only frontiers are in your mind. It's your own doubt, your own mindset that holds you back. So jump over that and build, make whatever you dream about. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much. The only frontiers are in your mind. Please do take note of that. Okay. I know time has moved so fast. I wouldn't want to take too much time. But then there was one question about how to be or how it is being a GDE or Google Developer Expert. So as I mentioned earlier, Google Developer Expert is just in a nutshell, or in simple terms, these are individuals who are recognized for their expertise in Google technologies, so cutting across cloud, web, mobile, so Google Cloud, Angular, Flutter, Android, Kotlin, and all that. And so what we do is, we are people of the community. Most of us have been brought up by the community, and what we're doing is we're giving back to the community using the knowledge that we have, sharing it with people, leading communities as well. And I think they've already shared much about being an expert at this or any technology is that it's always a journey. It's not about the destination. Personally, I usually say, in as much as I'm being recognized as an expert, there's so much that I'm learning about Angular. And after every couple of months, Angular new version is always coming out. Right now we are in Angular v16. Maybe at our workplace, we what I've been trying to do is trying as much as possible to just keep on updating our app to make sure we are up to date with the most recent updates on Angular and all. And every day I always find an article to read about some of these new features that are coming with Angular. And the beauty of it is that each and every one of us, or everyone who's writing an article, they have a different way of looking at some of these features. So it's always interesting to get to learn from them, also trying as much as possible to, test them out by myself, not just read it. And that's all about being an expert, really. It's about learning. And apart from that, there's also traveling. So, you get to travel to different parts of the world, different parts of the continent, just trying to share your experience and sharing your knowledge with people on the technology you're talking about. I love talking about Angular because personally, I learned Angular the hard way in terms of like I was thrown into the deep end back when I was getting started, and I was told like you need to learn Angular in 1 month because you're going to build features after that. So I usually love to share about that experience because not only did it teach me how to write code in Angular, but it also got me to really appreciate the technology itself. Right, so they can tell you the same thing when it comes to cloud, and all. Everyone has a different experience, but that's just something simple when it comes to, to experts. So we have a link we think which we'll share with you on if you want to get to know more about the Google Developer Expert Program. And if you feel like you're someone who's suited for it, you can always reach out to any of the GDEs, and they can definitely also, refer you to become a GDE. You never know, right? Yeah. So I think for me that's pretty much it. I'd like to just take over or take it back to Marvin.
All right. Thank you, Wayne. And as you know, with GDG, it's all about sharing because we believe sharing is caring. This is where we learn together, of course, leveraging on the community. Once again, this is an opportunity to learn, not just in one dark corner of the room somewhere else on your own, and not just from classes, but this is an opportunity for you to learn with peers in the forums during the study groups. And also from this point, as a next step, we please go ahead and follow your learning path on Cloud Skills Boost, attend the weekly study group or office hours, check what's on Discord. If you're able to answer some questions that other people are asking, go ahead and answer them, ask your questions, and even contribute to the community. And I can see that other people are also asking about the link to join Discord. We posted some of them on the chat, but I could just share here. Let me just share my screen. Just give me a minute. Can you see my screen? Perfect. So that's a direct link to join the Discord channel. But still, you could just scan this one, and then you'll be able to join. So for all of you who are going to join or watch this after this, if you just scan what's on your screen, you'll be able to join our group. And once again, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for tuning in from all over from the country, all the corners of the country, and even the continent. And thanks to all the GDEs for joining us this evening. We are grateful, and have a wonderful evening. Good evening, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.